started, you guys will need, for today, I'd recommend having 2 yoga blocks again, or Annie, your stool, I think has been perfect. And then you're also going to want some kind of a pad. I got a towel. I don't know if that's actually going to be enough. So like a pillow, or we have these big knee pads that are actually gardening pads, which is pretty cool. So grab that stuff. And I think that's it. So just 2 yoga blocks or a stool and then some type of a pad. And then once you have that, whoops, let's take our yoga block and we're going to do cars in the deep squat today. So you'll sit down on your block and this will be our cars. Hopefully you guys can actually still get me here. I guess we'll find out. I don't want to cover this. All right, let's see. Okay, cool. So we'll see what happens. So we'll go from the deep squat. We're going to go into 90-90 to do some work on the hips there. Then we'll go from 90-90 to figure 4, additional hip and lower body work. And then we'll go from figure 4 to kneeling, which is where we'll need the pad. And then we'll finish in prone. So we'll finish on the floor with some additional hip work. And for you, Annie, hopefully we'll get the baby on the way. So when you guys are ready, let's start with the neck from this deep squat position. So bringing chin to chest, looking towards the right armpit, leaning the right ear back to the right back pocket, eyes up to the ceiling, over to the left, down, chin to chest, and reverse. Eyes up to the ceiling, over to the right, down towards the right armpit, and down, chin to chest. Number 2, look to the right armpit, lean your ear back, eyes up to the ceiling, over to the left, and down, chin to chest, reverse. Look towards the left armpit, lean your left ear back, eyes up to the ceiling, over to the right and down. And last time, big circles being drawn with your nose, as if there were a dry erase board in front of you. Very good. Now, if you have an extra block, this can actually be really helpful. Or again, even a pillow or some other type of hard object. But if you take that block and kind of hug it to your chest, this can be a really strong position and really helpful to get the T-spine cars, so those cars in your mid-back. So if you have that, that's helpful. If not, just give yourself a hug around the shoulders. So from here, let's bring chest down to the floor. Rotate over towards your right knee. Lift your ribs up and away from the floor. Over to the left, down and to center, and reverse. And down to center. Again, let's use the clock example. Let's bring your hands over to 3 o'clock, up to 12, over to 9, down to 6, and reverse. And one more. This squat position is tough for me today. And reverse. 9 o'clock, 12, 3, 6. Next, let's go to shoulder blades. If you have that block, you could still use that here. Go ahead and hold it in front of you and give it a squeeze. If not, just both hands out in front and reach the block away. Shrug the shoulders up, pull the block towards you, drop the shoulders down, reach, shrug, pull back, drop, one more, reach, shrug, pull back, drop, and reverse, shrug, reach, drop, pull back, shrug, reach, drop, pull back, one more, shrug, reach, drop, pull back, very nice. Let's set that block aside. Next, going to, I think I actually need 2 blocks today for some reason. Getting crushed here. Next, let's go to the right shoulder. Right arm comes across the midline, bicep grazing your cheek. Once you get stuck in the overhead position, turn your thumb in towards your head and reach back. Keep turning until you come down next to the hip and your thumb should be facing backwards. And now reverse, reach up and back behind you. Once you get stuck, turn your thumb down towards the floor. Continue turning in that direction, external rotation, as you come across the midline. Number 2. Again, in these points where you get stuck, focus on twisting as much as you can before moving on to the next point. And number 3. And reverse. And the other side, left shoulder. Across the midline. Bicep grazes the cheek. When you reach overhead position, turn your thumb in towards your head and out as you reach back behind you. Come down to meet the hip and reverse. And number 2. And reverse. And number 3. And reverse. Next, let's go to the elbows. So elbows down between your thighs. Palms are facing forward, and then bend the elbow. So now palms are facing you. And let's extend the elbow. Turn the palms over. Flex, turn, extend, turn, flex, turn. One more. Extend, turn, flex. Keep palms facing away. And now extend, turn the palms, flex, turn, extend, turn, flex, turn. Last one. Extend, turn, flex. Very good. If you can, take your left or your right forearm, place it on your right knee with your hand kind of just hanging off the edge or your wrist hanging off the edge. And let's go palm down today. And you can either go wide fingers or make a fist, so whichever one, and then hold that arm in place. And now let's make circles with the wrist. Let's bring the knuckles down to 6 o'clock, over to 9, up to 12, over to 3, 2 more in that same direction. Try to keep that fist closed tight if you've got a fist. If you've got your fingers spread out, keep them as wide as possible. Reverse, 3, 12 o'clock, 9, 6, 2 more, 3, 12, 9, 6, 1 more. Very good. And the other side, left wrist just hanging off the knee. And I'm going to use a fist on this one, but same thing. You can use fist or wide fingers. Let's bring knuckles to 6, over to 3, 12, 9. 2 more. Your objective with the wrist is to try to keep your forearm totally still. So that's why we have this hand here. You don't want this to turn over as you're going through that. So keep this pinned in place, and let's reverse. 9 o'clock, 12, 3, 6. 2 more. Very good. From here, let's get the knee and ankle, and then we'll get the hip a little bit later on. So from here, go ahead and lift up your right thigh with your right arm underneath. That should keep your foot hanging off the ground. So for the knee, let's bring the heel to the inside, extend your knee slightly, heel to the outside, bend the knee, swing the heel in, extend, heel out, bend, heel in, extend, heel out, bend. Now, if for some reason that's too difficult to extend and bend, you can just keep swinging your heel back and forth like this. So let's reverse now. Heel is outside, extend, inside, bend, outside, extend, inside, bend. One more, outside, extend, inside, bend. Grab the shin, and now circles with the ankle. Same idea with the clock face. Take your toes to 12, 3, 6, 9. Again, 12, 3, 6, 9. And reverse. 2 and 3. And the other side. Lift up the left leg, left arm underneath. Let's bring the heel towards the inside, extend slightly, heel outside, bend, inside, extend, outside, bend. One more. And heel stays out, extend, heel in, bend, heel out, extend, in, bend, out, extend, in, bend. Grab the shin with your right hand, circles at the ankle, 12 o'clock, 3, 6, 9, one more, and reverse. Very good. And last, but certainly not least, foundation for everything we do. Let's do the toes. I don't know if you guys can see, so I usually try to explain this one as vividly as possible, but if you need to, when we do this, you can hold down the toes that we're not trying to move. So in this case, we're going to try to move the big toe. What I want you to try to do is keep all the little toes down and lift your right big toe and set it down. Now, if that's not happening without the other ones coming up, you just take your fingers and you hold those 4 toes down, which just gives you an opportunity to practice on that big toe. So let's do the big toe 3 times. Pick it up, set it down, pick it up, set it down, pick up, set down. Now the opposite, let's pick up the little toes, set them down, pick them up. Again, you can stick your finger on your big toe if you need to. 3, and then pick up all the toes. Try to set the little toe down first and then work your way back in to the big toe. Pick up. Little toes go down one at a time. Pick up. Little toes down one at a time. Very good. Let's go left side. Little toes up. Set them down. Up. Down, up, down. Big toe, up, down, up, down, up, down, and then all toes up. Little ones down first and across to big toe. Number 2. Ooh, that side's hard. Very good. Awesome. All right, so we're going to go from deep squat to first position, which will be 90-90. Let's work 90-90 with the left hip as the lead hip first. So you're going to take your right knee and let's bring it down to the floor. And then from here, you may have to take away a block or you can keep a block. I'm probably going to keep one because this has been helping a lot. So now we're in this position, right knee is down. Let's pick up that left leg and move your left knee so it's kind of like straight out in front of you. And then we can start to refine 90-90 from here. So if I look at my left leg, I want my left knee to be at 90 degrees. I want there to be a 90-degree angle between my right thigh and my left thigh. And then at my right knee, there should also be a 90-degree angle. Cool? Now, if you're sitting on a block and you have two, it can be helpful to block that knee just so you have like the same base under your knee and your hip. This is good for somebody who maybe doesn't have as much external rotation like myself. And so that's why you'll see me using the blocks right now. If you don't need the block, you can just go straight to the floor and we're in the right spot. So we're going to focus on this left hip, your lead hip, the hip that's in external rotation. What I'd like you guys to do is let's start trying to find a stretch in the back of the left hip. So like somewhere back near your left butt cheek. So what's going to happen here is a couple things first. Sit up as tall as you can and lift your chest or lift your bra line up and away from your hips. Then start to spill your belly button forward as if you're trying to tilt your hips forward or tilt your pelvis forward. And then after you've done those two, you can start to lean forward until you find that stretch in the back of the left hip. So I'll give you guys a minute to play with that. Again, there's three major things that you could do to try to find that. You can lift your chest up higher, you can spill your belly button down to the ground, and then you can lean forward. So chances are that'll help you find it, unless you're crazy, crazy mobile. Now from here, let's take a few deep breaths just to kind of feel out that stretch and get comfortable with it. So 5 deep breaths. Very good. Now hang on to that stretch, and we're going to begin our first round of Pales Rails contractions from here. So we're going to do things a little bit differently today and take you guys through a much faster ramp up. And then we'll do all of our contractions at safest, greatest effort. And that does include you, Annie, on the pushing side. Now on the pulling side, where you're fighting for more range of motion, I don't necessarily want you to do that, and I'll let you know when that part comes up. So when you guys are ready, keep that stretch feeling. Drive your left ankle into the floor, but keep the left knee light. So all the pressure should be in your right ankle or your left ankle and your left foot. So start driving that into the ground, 20% effort. Ramping from 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 60. Take a break for just a moment. Find that stretch again. And when you're ready, drive the left ankle down, 60% effort, 70, 80, 90. Take a deep breath in. Push at your safest, greatest effort. For 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse, try to lift that left ankle off of the floor. Annie, this is where I want you to just use like 60%. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's reverse ankle into the ground at your safest, greatest effort for 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now these second contractions are really important. Try to get yourself deeper into that stretch. So pull your chest further forward, further up and out, trying to get deeper into that stretch feeling. And reverse, left ankle into the ground, safest, greatest effort for 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse and pull deeper into that stretch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Final set. Drive ankle into the ground. Safest, greatest effort for 10. Feel the outside of that left hip burning. 3, 2, 1. Try to lift that ankle off the ground and pull deeper into that position. And relax. Hold this new position that you're in, hopefully a little deeper than where you started. And let's just hang here for a second. Nice job. Now we're going to continue work, but we're going to go to this trail hip. So when we're working the trail hip, let's turn your chest back towards that right foot. And the further you turn your chest back, the more intense of a stretch you may get somewhere in the hip. Ideally, we're looking for the top of the hip, but you might get it anywhere in the hip capsule, depending on how that feels for you. Now, there's a couple of ways we can enhance or increase that stretch. So the further you turn your chest back towards that foot, and the further you sink that right side of your butt into the ground, the more intense this will be. So from here, once you have that stretch, 5 deep breaths. So let's do same thing as before. We're going to ramp up really quickly here. When you guys are ready, drive your right ankle down into the ground. Right knee is light. Ankle pushing at 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Ease off the tension for a moment, but maintain the stretch. Take a deep breath. And drive the ankle down at 60, 70% effort, 80, 90. Find your safest, greatest effort for 10. 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse. Try to lift that ankle off of the floor. It shouldn't move, but just imagine that that's what you're trying to do. You should start to feel this stuff on top of the hip working. 3, 2, 1. Drive the ankle into the ground. Safest, greatest effort for 10. 3, 2, 1. Reverse. Try to lift that ankle off the floor. 3, 2, 1. Third contraction. Drive the ankle into the ground. Safest, greatest effort for 10. 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse. Try to lift that ankle. Knee stays light. 3, 2, 1. Final set. Push ankle into the ground. Safest, greatest effort. and reverse. Try to lift that ankle. 3, 2, 1. And a little break. Hold that stretch position. Whew. I'm kind of regretting all these sets that I had planned for you guys. This is hard. Very nice. All right, so we're going to transfer from here to figure 4 and spend a little time working there. Then we'll return to 90-90 and flip to the other side. So from here, what I'd like you to do is you're going to lift that right knee up off the ground. You're going to scoop the right foot under and then straighten that leg out. Now this is tough because I'm on the block, so I'm going to come off the block. So then you're in this position here. Then your left foot, you're going to lift up and bring it to your right knee. And now you're in figure 4. So from this position, we're going to work 2 different things on each hip. The first is going to be a hover and a hinge through the left hip and the left knee. So this is where your block can come in handy. If you're super strong and you feel like you have really good control over this hip, you can keep your hands right here. To make the challenge a little bit easier, stick your hands back behind you or maybe out to the sides so you have some extra support here. So what's going to happen is you want to find the spot where you can lift this left leg above your block. So it might be a little bit further back than you think, or maybe you need a smaller object like a tennis ball, or even your phone is still a good challenge, depending on what device you're using. So when you find that spot, for me it's hands pretty far back here, let's lift that leg, and I want you to straighten the knee, set it down, lift, flex the knee, and come back to figure 4. So we're going to do 10 of these. Let's see, there we go. All right, that should be the right spot. So when you're ready, number 2, lift the leg, straighten the knee, set down. Try to keep your toes out when you set that leg down. Lift, bend the knee back over the object, set down. Lift, straighten, set down. Lift, bend, set down. Lift, straighten, set down. Lift, bend, set down. 5 to go. Lift, straighten, set down, lift, bend, set down. Again, if you want more of a challenge, bring your hands a little closer. Lift, straighten, set down, lift, bend, set down. 3 to go. Lift, straighten, set down. Keep those toes pointed out. Lift, bend, set down. 2 to go. And 1 more. Very good. Nice job. All right, so now we're going to go to the right hip. Similar idea, we're going to hover, but, we're only going to hover from the hip. So we want this leg to stay as straight as possible. The further forward your hands go, the harder this is. The further back, the easier. So same as before, for a medium challenge, just keep your hands like on your chest or like squeeze them together. Or you can make fists out here, something like that. If you want a crazy challenge, bring your hands all the way up. If you need it to be a little easier, just lean back. So when you're ready, let's point the toes, squeeze through your leg and make it tight and strong. And then you want to lift the leg, bring it over the block, set it down, lift, bring it over the block, set it down. Now let's talk about kind of what's going on with me here. If you are able to get up over the block like this, a couple things can happen. Keep your body where it is and make the object higher, or keep the object where it is and move the hands closer so that it gets harder. Does that make sense? So you really only want to be clearing that object in as small of a gap as possible, because it means you're really working the actual end range. So over the next 9 reps, try to find that for yourself, is where is that spot where I can just clear the object? And then that's where the real work is happening. So hopefully this will be in the right spot for me. Let's go number 2. Lift, hover, drop. Lift, hover, drop. Number 3, lift, hover, drop. Lift, hover, drop. Yeah, I'm in the right spot. Lift, hover, drop. Lift, hover, drop. Number 5, lift, hover, drop. Lift, hover, drop. Number 6, lift, hover, drop. Lift, hover, drop. 7, lift, hover, drop. Lift, hover, drop. 8, hover, drop. Hover and drop. Number 9, lift, hover, drop. And lift, hover, drop. And last one, lift, hover, drop. And return, lift, hover, drop. Very nice. All right, so that's it for figure 4 on this side. So we're now going to go to 90-90 on the other side, and we'll work our way through the whole sequence again, just on all the opposite limbs. So what I'd like to do is take you guys back to 90-90 on the other side and transfer through the 90-90 method. So let's take this left leg first, lift that left leg up, open it so that that thigh is about 90 degrees from your right thigh. You have a 90-degree angle at the left knee. Then lift your right leg, bend the knee, and sweep that right foot out behind you. So you're now in 90-90 on the side that we started with. Now, when we transfer, you can put your hands on the ground behind you, or you can hold them up in the air. And what you're going to do is start to open the right knee and swing your right heel under. Then now you're kind of in like bear sit when you hit this middle point. And then just take the left knee across and down to the ground, and you'll be in 90-90 on the other side. So take a moment just to kind of refine the position. We're looking for 90 degrees at the right knee, 90 degrees between your thighs, 90 degrees at the left knee. Again, I'm going to block this. So yoga blocks here. Again, the blocks should make this easier for you on that front leg if you don't have much external rotation. And when you guys are ready, let's start ramping up the right ankle contraction into the ground. Let's find our stretch first. So chest is high, leaning forward until you feel a stretch in the back of the right hip. Once you have that stretch, let's take a few breaths. And let's begin ramping up. So light in the right knee, heavy in the right ankle. Let's drive your right ankle down into the floor. 20%, 30, 40, 50, 60, and relax for a moment. Adjust, make sure you have a nice stretch, and then let's resume. 60, 70, 80, 90. Find your safest, greatest effort and push for 10. 3, 2, 1. Keep the right knee down. Try to lift that right ankle off the floor and pull yourself deeper into that stretch feeling. 3, 2, 1. Reverse, drive ankle down. Safest, greatest effort for 10. 3, 2, 1. Try to lift that ankle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drive the ankle down. Safest, greatest effort for 10. 3, 2, 1. Reverse, try to lift that ankle. 3, 2, 1. Final set, deep breath in. Try to create tension through this back leg as well. Deep breath in and drive the right ankle down. Safest, greatest effort for 10. 3, 2, 1. And try to lift that right ankle. 3, 2, 1. Very nice. Relax. Nice job. Let's turn attention to the back leg. So again, to find a stretch on this back hip, turn your chest back towards the foot and sink that side of your butt down towards the ground. Should start to give you a stretch on top of that hip. I think actually on this side, if I use a block, I can't really get that stretch there. So there we go. Same thing when you guys are ready, when we find that stretch, let's just take a couple breaths. Annie, how you doing? You all right? And when you guys are ready, let's start to ramp up. So driving the left ankle into the ground, 20% effort. 30. Yeah, no worries. 40, 50, 60. Pause for a moment. Keep that stretch. Adjust it if you need to. When you're ready, let's ramp from 60, left ankle into the ground, 70% effort. 80, 90. Find safest, greatest effort and push for 10. 3, 2, 1, and try to lift that left ankle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse, drive left ankle into the ground. Safest, greatest effort for 10. 3, 2, 1. Try to lift that ankle. Knee stays in the ground. 3, 2, 1. Set number 3. Drive ankle down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And try to lift the ankle up. And reverse, final set. Again, the knee is just your fulcrum here, so try to just drive that ankle as if you're trying to swing it under your knee. Safest, greatest effort for 10. 3, 2, 1, and try to lift that ankle. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Very nice. Let's go to figure 4 from this side. So lift, and if you need to, you can lean back to try to get this leg up. Lift that left leg up, scoop the foot under. straighten it out, set it down. Then pick up the right foot, bring it to your left knee. And now we're in figure 4 on the other side, where we remember all the fun stuff happened before. So take that block, or if you needed a smaller object, you can use that object here. Like we did before, the harder, if you want to make this harder, you'll lean forward and get closer to the block with your chest. To make it easier or more accessible, just take your hands back behind you. So when you're ready, we'll do a set of 10 here, hovering the hip and then hinging at the knee. So let's lift up that right foot and extend the knee, set down, toes are pointed out. Lift, bend the knee, set back down. Lift, extend the knee, set down. Lift, bend, set down. Number 3, lift, extend, set down. Lift, bend, set down. Lift, extend, set down. Lift, bend, set down. Number 5, lift, extend, set down. Lift, bend, set down. 5 to go. Let's just draw attention real quickly to how you can change the difficulty again. So if you need to, you could take this object away. Let's say I trade it for a towel. So it's a smaller object, but that now allows me to maybe sit up taller instead of using my hands. This is the same drill, but much harder to try to hover that object because now I can sit up straight. So there's a lot of ways you guys can challenge yourselves here. Don't necessarily try to make it easier just by leaning back. Like, you can always change that object. You could use something even as small as like a pen. So let's pick that up, bring that foot back in. Number 7, lift, extend, drop down, lift, bend, drop down. Number 8, lift, extend, drop, lift, bend, drop. 2 to go. Lift, extend, drop, lift, bend, drop. And last one, lift, extend, drop, lift, bend, drop. Very nice. So let's go to our straight leg, left leg, and take your block, stick it just outside the shin. Same thing as before. The further up you go, the harder it is. The further back you go, the easier or more accessible it is. So just find the one that allows you to clear the object with the least amount of space. So when you're ready, 10 here. So lift, hover, drop, lift, hover, drop. Number 2, lift, hover, drop, lift, hover, drop. 3, lift, hover, drop, lift, hover, drop. Number 4, hover, drop, lift, hover, drop. Number 5, lift, hover, drop, lift, hover, drop. Good, halfway there. Let's take another moment. I just want to talk about the hovers. What you want to do is you want to be able to lift up, pause for literally like a split second, hover, pause, set it down. Now, if you do something like this, it doesn't really count, right? You're just kind of winging that leg over. So really try to be deliberate in the lift, the hover, and then the descent. Does that make sense? Come up, hover, back. That demonstrates that you've got control over this. So number 7, lift, hover, drop, lift, hover, drop, lift, hover, drop, lift, hover, drop. Number 9, lift, hover, drop. And last one. Very nice. Now, if you guys have time, I might take you like 10 more minutes, just because there's a fair amount left that I want to take you guys through. If not, you can always watch the video later and do the last 10 minutes. So now we're going to go from here to half kneeling. So what you're going to do, again, if you need hands on the ground, you can do that, is you're going to pick up the left leg, bring the left foot under so that it matches with your right foot, and then drop that knee down so that your knees are together and kind of like in line with each other. And then you're going to roll up on your shins. So this will put you in a kneeling position. Now, we're going to do passive range holds at the knee. So this is where you're going to need the pad. So let's go from this collapsed kneeling up to half kneeling. So I'll keep my left knee on the ground, and then my right foot will come up. Again, this is a good place to have this pad because you're going to have a lot of pressure through the knee. And if this is uncomfortable for you, you can just lay, not you, Annie, but anyone else could lay on their stomach, and you can get access to this as well. So what we're going to do here is, if you can, you want to reach back and grab your left foot. And so we're going to do something called a passive range hold here. So what happens is you've got your foot in your hand. You're going to pull it as close to your butt as you can. So that's going to be your passive range of motion here. Then what you want to do is squeeze your heel towards your butt and try to pull your foot off of your hand. Now, once that contraction starts going, you can slowly slip your fingers off and try to hold that foot in its position for about 5 seconds. Does that make sense? So this is a passive range hold. We're bringing the limb into its passive range, and then we're taking away the support of the hand. So let's give that a shot. We're going to do 5 of these. That first one won't count. So when you're ready, pull that foot in towards your butt. Then start contracting, losing my balance today. Start contracting through that hamstring to try to keep your heel and your butt as close as possible, and then slip your hand away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Grab again. Pull to passive range. Start to squeeze. Slip the hand away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Grab hold. Pull to passive range. Start squeezing. Slip the hand away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Grab again. We've got 2 to go. When you slip that hand away, try to let the foot drop as little as possible. So you don't want to take that hand off and then your foot just crashes to the floor. So pull to passive range, squeeze, take the hand away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one. Pull in tight. Squeeze that stuff between your heel and your butt. Slip the hand away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew. All right, when you're ready, back to tall kneeling. You can switch that knee pad if you need to. Bring that left foot up into half kneel. Same thing as before. If you're like me, for whatever reason, having trouble with balance today, you can hang on to like the arm of a couch, or if you have a chair or a broomstick or something like that, that can be helpful here. So same as before, reach back, grab that foot, start to squeeze all of the stuff that keeps your heel close to your butt. And then, when you're ready, slip the hand away, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reposition, find that passive range, squeeze, slip the hand away, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, find passive range, squeeze, remove your support, your hand, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set number 4. If you get a cramp here, just try to keep training through it. You're not going to get hurt, even if it feels really uncomfortable. And we can talk about that another time. When you're ready, squeeze your heel to your butt. Take the hand away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Final set. Grab that foot. Find passive range. Remove the hand and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. All right, so final piece here. So I'd like to work hip extension with you guys. So this is a really effective way to do it. Let's keep that knee pad. We're going to go from tall kneeling into what's called collapsed quadruped. So there's a few ways that you can do this. You can go down like head on your hands, like this. And so this would be the first position, like my butt's still pretty high off the ground here. And then we're going to straighten the left leg, and you're going to try to lift off of the ground. So you could see in this situation, I have a fair amount of range of motion. So if you're here and you can only lift your foot like an inch or so off the floor, then this is the right spot for you. Now for the rest of us, what we probably need to do is sink our butt back towards our heel. And so you can keep the toes tucked under to make this a little bit easier. And then from here, now you're going to try to lift that left leg or those left toes off the ground. So we'll do a set of 10 here. Your head should be on your hands. Annie, for you, what I would consider doing is staying like up like this if you've got enough room. And then you can put your foot on a stool. So you just raise the ground up a little bit. Because you're not going to be able to get into this deep bend position. But Emily, for you, toes are tucked under, collapse that right hip. And now let's work the left side. So when you're ready, deep breath in, lock out the left knee, and try to lift that hip, or lift that foot off the ground. That's 1. We're going to do 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very nice. Then let's go back to quadruped. Tuck the toes under, collapse